Yeah, I suppose in my office I like to surround myself, obviously, as we all do, with books. But I keep a picture of, there's me and my dad who passed away about 5 years ago. Picture of my former teacher, Del Colve. And I have a photo of my parents. It's very important. I'm always talking about my working class background. Our students often come from similar backgrounds, so very interested that they see your parents and say, oh, they're not professors. I said, no, my dad was a carpenter, and my mom raised us, noble, wonderful, philosophical people, both of them. They've both seen me teach, and before they passed away. So it's so important to honor our parents and our ancestors and everything we do with them in mind. I am Michele Antonio Calabrese, Michael Anthony Calabrese, professor of English, starting my 30th year at Cal State LA. Well, I'm extremely grateful to receive this award. Our students are so gifted, and many of our students are multilingual, and one of the great glories of our campus is in my study of medieval literature and in my work as a teacher, a scholar, or a translator, I have tried to make great use of the students' multilingualism and their ability to read and recite. So our students are especially gifted in the recitation of Middle English. So unique. You might think, oh, our students, what connection do they have to British literature that seems so canonical, maybe even, part of a colonial past. But really, we break through that myth, and we show that students have both facility and skill and access with medieval literature linguistically. So I'm bringing a group of students next year to Pasadena to the new Chaucer Society conference. We're going to have an hour-and-a-half session of the students reciting in Middle English dramatically from the Canterbury Tales, and then reciting from their Spanish translation of the Canterbury Tales, and then discussing the work that they did. What thought, what study, what research, what decisions did they make as translators in adapting this medieval text into modern Spanish? I think it's very important that at a conference like that, a wide variety of teachers, not just PhDs and noted professors, but students and scholars and teachers from all levels are represented. So I have the honor of putting this together, and I was so awarded by the university, for which I'm grateful. Well, these are English majors, right? It means they're committed to literature. It means that they believe in art. They believe that literature tells them certain truths. And these days you might think, well, we have such a multicultural population, and the students, how could they be interested in that old stuff? And this is the barrier that we break down. All good literature from anywhere in the global sense around the world, and no matter what we're reading, can speak to us if we can understand how our own experiences are reflected in the text. So Canterbury Tales, 14th century, this is a text about corruption, suspicion of government, lack of faith in religious institutions. It's also a time about changing levels of gender empowerment, the rise of women in business, conflict, early days of capitalism. So a 14th century text like the Canterbury Tales is exactly about our students, our lives, our distinct California, Los Angeles, American moment in 2023. So this work has the benefit of bringing the text home to where the students are, showing them that they can understand it through their life experiences. They own the text, and most importantly, other people can learn from our students. When our students read, when they analyze literature from their own wisdom, their own experience, their own family histories, their own ancestry, then the academic community actually learns more from our students than our students learn from the academic community. So all of this is part of my activist pedagogy that I practice in every element of my teaching, of foregrounding our students as readers. This is a way for our students to really distinguish themselves and show their unique abilities and what they can teach the academic community. So I'll just read a few lines from the opening of the Canterbury Tales so our viewers can hear the rhythms of it and the beautifully Latinate language. The tender cropes and the young sun hath in the ram his halve corsi runna, on smalle thules maken melodie, dat slijpen al die nicht with open ear. So pricketh hem natuur in her courages, van longen folk to go on pilgrimages, on palmers for to seken strange strondes, to ferne halves, sooth in sundry landes, on specially from every sheeres ende of Engeland, to Canterbury they wende, the holy blissful martyr for to seke, that hen hath holpen, one that they were seke. Our goal in the English department throughout the College of Arts and Letters is to make students really think deeply about how they are situated in the world. What are my responsibilities to others? What does community mean? And how do I put to work everything I've learned about art history, about photography, about dance, about film, about music, about literature? How can this be of service in a civic sense? And you might think, well, how in the world does the study of British literature or medieval literature have any social justice dimension or civic aspect? In my translation of Piers Plowman, this is another work that the students work on. It's the pilgrimage story about a man wandering the world looking for truth. Well, why do you look for truth? Well, because it's been lost. And truth means justice. It means equity. It means being able to rely on people in society. It's the hope that they're going to be motivated by their consciences to act through compassion, to care for others, rather than to see other people in the world in an adversarial and competitive way. So it's a great epic battle between the two forces of compassion, thoughtfulness. Call it love in the non-religious sense, even though it is obviously a Christian medieval poem, and in opposition to the forces of corruption and greed, selfishness, self-interest. And in the modern world, wherever people are in terms of socioeconomic theory or politics, we're aware that the forces of greed and corruption militate against the forces of community and compassion. So a poem like this can be extremely helpful for our students because it shows them that people have been struggling in all societies, Eastern, Western, European, American, all societies, with this battle between selfishness and compassion. And we're still struggling with it today. So my advice to students is to take to heart everything that we're reading and let it be a tool to help guide you through any situation you are in life, professional, personal, social, political, civic, and to use everything that we've taught you in all these big books and make it important in your lives. The doctrine here is that you don't disassociate your learning, like I went to school, I learned all these useful skills, and now I have to do a practical job. But you take what you learned in school as a multifaceted tool for figuring out the complexity of situations. Make use of your English major as you navigate yourself through all the complicated aspects of life, because that's what literature is, the record of people navigating through the complexities of life.
Well, thank you for your time and congratulations again on your exceptional levels of service.
It's my great pleasure. Thank you for coming today, and I'm always at your service.